In the distant Han Dynasty, the palace walls stood tall. Golden tiles and red walls shone brightly in the sunlight. Within this magnificent palace lived a woman named Wang Zhaojun. Her beauty, like the brightest star in the night sky, illuminated the silent palace. Xiongnu, why is your music so melancholic? A man dressed in sumptuous robes stopped in his tracks amidst her music, a hint of curiosity in his eyes. Zhaojun stopped playing her strings, raised her head, revealing a fair and delicate face. Her eyes were as clear as autumn water, but hidden within was an unknown sorrow. In reply, "Your Majesty, I can only think of my distant hometown." Xiaojun's voice was as clear as mountain spring water, but carried a subtle sorrow that was hard to express. This man was the emperor of the Han Dynasty, the Emperor Yuan Di. Looking at Zhaojun, a strange feeling surged within him. He had never seen such a beautiful woman before. Her beauty was not just in her appearance, but in the temperament that emanated from her bones. However, Xiaojun's fate seemed to be less smooth than her beauty. She came from a humble background. Although chosen for the harem, due to her status, she could never win the emperor's favor. Her love, like a hidden orchid in the deep palace, was beautiful but unappreciated. Zhaojun did not sink into despair. Using her talent and perseverance to stand out in the palace, she taught herself various arts: piano, chess, calligraphy, and painting, and was proficient in all. At night, when the world was quiet, she would practice alone in the corner of the palace. Her silhouette, like a ghost under the moonlight, was mysterious and beautiful. However, the gears of fate began to turn. The Han Dynasty's policy of marriage alliance with the Xiongnu pushed Zhaojun towards an unknown destiny. Welcome to History Told in Ink. Here, we delve into the lives of historical figures in China, revealing their splendid lives, showcasing the wisdom and strategies of ancient Chinese historical figures. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe. Let's explore the history of China together. Xiaojun, are you willing to go to the Xiongnu for a marriage alliance? The Emperor Yuan Di asked this question by chance. Xiaojun raised her head, a look of surprise flashing in her eyes, then replied calmly, "I am willing." This sentence, like a thunderclap, shook the entire palace. Xiaojun's voluntary request was a surprise to everyone. Her courage and determination won the Emperor Yuan Di's respect. Xiaojun's request was not a moment of impulse. She knew that marriage alliance was the only way for the Han Dynasty and the Xiongnu to coexist in peace. She was willing to sacrifice her own happiness for the peace of the country. Thus, Zhaojun began her long journey of marriage alliance. She carried fear of the unknown destiny and hope for national peace as she set out on her journey. As the wheels rolled, Xiaojun's heart was in turmoil. She watched the palace walls recede out the window, filled with sorrow and parting feelings. She knew that once she left, it would be a world apart, and she would never return to her homeland again. The marriage alliance party set off in grandeur, crossing endless grasslands and climbing over continuous mountains. Zhaojun sat in the carriage, looking out the window at the scenery, and couldn't help but think of her family back home. She remembered her mother's warm smile, her father's sturdy figure, and the familiar sound of her hometown. However, the road of marriage alliance was not smooth. The grasslands of the Xiongnu were beset by wind and sand, and the weather was unpredictable. During the journey, Zhaojun witnessed countless separations and deaths. Some soldiers died of the cold and snow. Others' horses fell due to hunger. Xiaojun's heart was filled with grief, but she never showed weakness in front of anyone. In an accident, Xiaojun's carriage overturned, and she fell out, injuring her leg. At that moment, she was almost despairing. But in her heart, there was only one thought: she could not fall. She could not give up. Withstanding the pain, she struggled to get up and continue following the group. Finally, Zhaojun arrived in the capital of the Xiongnu. The sky here was bluer than in the Han Dynasty, the clouds whiter, but Zhaojun's heart was filled with loneliness. The Xiongnu's Khan, a dignified and handsome man, had sharp eyes like a wolf in the grasslands. Zhaojun, are you willing to become my wife? The Khan's voice was deep and powerful, with a hint of anticipation in his eyes. Zhaojun did not answer. She knew that this moment was a turning point in her fate. She took a deep breath, raised her head slowly, and looked steadily into the Khan's eyes. I am willing. Zhaojun's voice was weak, but filled with determination. Thus, Zhaojun became the Khan's wife. She began to learn the language and customs of the Xiongnu, striving to integrate into this new environment. Her beauty and wisdom soon won the respect of the Xiongnu people. In her life with the Xiongnu, Zhaojun faced both challenges and opportunities. She used her wisdom to resolve misunderstandings and conflicts between the Han Dynasty and the Xiongnu, and her marriage alliance became a symbol of peace between the two countries. On the grasslands of the Xiongnu, Zhaojun gradually adapted to life there. She learned to ride horses, to shoot arrows, and her figure seemed particularly resilient in the wind. She was no longer the woman who sang alone in the Han palace, but a warrior on the grasslands, a messenger of peace. The marriage between Zhaojun and the Khan was not as difficult as people imagined. She won the Khan's trust and affection with her gentleness and wisdom. She was not only the Khan's wife, but also his advisor. Her opinions held an important place in the political decisions of the Xiongnu. Under Zhaojun's efforts, the relationship between the Han Dynasty and the Xiongnu improved greatly. Her actions proved that peace was more powerful than war. Her story spread between the two countries, becoming a famous tale. Zhaojun's life in the Xiongnu was not smooth sailing. She had to face external pressures and misunderstandings, as well as overcome her loneliness and homesickness. At night, when the world was quiet, she would sit outside the tent, looking up at the stars, missing her distant hometown. However, Zhaojun never gave up hope. She believed that one day, she would return to her own country. That day finally came. The Han Dynasty's envoys came to the Xiongnu with the emperor's command, telling Zhaojun that the Han Dynasty was willing to recall her, allowing her to return to her homeland. Zhaojun's heart was filled with complex emotions. She knew that once she left, she would forever leave this land she once deeply loved. On the day of departure, the people of the Xiongnu came to bid her farewell, their eyes filled with tears, full of reluctance towards her. Zhaojun stood among the crowd, looking at these faces that were once strangers but now so familiar. A warm current surged in her heart. Zhaojun said goodbye to the Khan, goodbye to the grasslands of the Xiongnu, and set out on the journey back to the Han Dynasty with endless yearning and hope. After returning to the Han Dynasty, Zhaojun was warmly welcomed by the emperor and the people. Her return was not just the return of an individual, but a symbol of peace. Her story became a famous tale passed down by later generations. Zhaojun returned to the Han palace, but her heart had long left that place. She infused her experiences and insights into her artistic creation. Her paintings, her poetry, were filled with nostalgia for the grasslands and a yearning for peace. Zhaojun's influence was not limited to the Han Dynasty. Her story spread to the Xiongnu and beyond, becoming a bridge of cultural exchange. Her existence promoted understanding and friendship between the two peoples. Zhaojun's life was full of twists and turns, but she wrote a legend with her perseverance and wisdom. Her story became a valuable cultural heritage of the Chinese nation, inspiring later generations to pursue peace, wisdom, and benevolence. After returning to the Han Dynasty, although she returned to the familiar palace, her heart was still filled with the vastness of the grasslands. Her name, like her paintings, became an eternal imprint. During her days in the Han palace, Zhaojun did not indulge in the glory of the past. Instead, with a more peaceful mindset, she continued her artistic creation. Her paintings were no longer just descriptions of court life, but integrated with the nuances of her life in the Xiongnu, the vastness of the grasslands, the scourge of wind and sand, the vastness of the starry sky. All found delicate expression in her brushstrokes. Zhaojun's paintings quickly caused a stir among the people. Her paintings were not just a visual delight, but a shared emotional resonance. People saw the resilience of a woman, the changes of an era, and the preciousness of peace in her works. As time passed, Zhaojun's status in the Han Palace gradually stabilized. She was no longer the innocent girl who first entered the palace, but a talented woman deeply respected by the emperor. Her wisdom and beauty made her stand out in the palace. However, Zhaojun always had a knot in her heart. That was her longing for the Xiongnu. At night, when the world was quiet, she would stand alone on the high palace, looking up at the stars, as if searching for that distant grassland. The emperor noticed Zhaojun's odd behavior. He knew the emotions in her heart. After a deep talk, the emperor decided to give Zhaojun an opportunity, allowing her to return to the Xiongnu to complete her mission of marriage alliance. Zhaojun's return caused a great stir in the Xiongnu. The Khan himself came out to greet her, his eyes filled with surprise and joy. Zhaojun and the Khan looked at each other and smiled, as if longtime friends had reunited. In the Xiongnu, Zhaojun became the Khan's wife again, but she was no longer the forced marriage princess, but a messenger of peace with a mission. Her wisdom and benevolence once again won the respect of the Xiongnu people. Zhaojun's life in the Xiongnu became more fulfilling and meaningful. She not only used her actions to deepen the friendship between the Han Dynasty and the Xiongnu, but also promoted cultural exchange between the two countries. Her influence far exceeded her imagination. Zhaojun's story became a famous tale passed down by later generations. Her name, like her paintings, spread through the ages. Her life, although full of twists and turns, she wrote a legend with her perseverance and wisdom. In the long river of history, Zhaojun's figure may have moved further away, but her story, her spirit, will forever remain in people's hearts. Her beauty, her wisdom, her benevolence have become a role model for later generations to learn from. Zhaojun's story is not just a personal legend. It is a cultural heritage, a symbol of peace. On the vast land of China, Zhaojun's name is widely spread, her image deeply rooted in people's hearts. In modern times, Zhaojun's story is also used to remind people of the preciousness of peace and harmony. In today's globalized world, Zhaojun's spirit has profound practical significance. Her heritage reminds us that in any situation, we should strive for peace, respect differences, and promote common development. Zhaojun's life was short, but her influence was profound. Her story, like her name, will forever be etched in the long river of history, becoming a valuable cultural heritage of the Chinese nation.